The Night Shift Nobody Wants Part 2. Have you ever wondered what really happens in hospital morgues after dark? Today we're diving into bone-chilling encounters that will make you think twice about hospitals. Picture this. It's 3 a.m., and the hospital corridors are empty except for the occasional nurse doing rounds. The lights flicker, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Down in the basement, where the morgue sits, strange noises echo through the cold, sterile air. These aren't just stories to keep you up at night. They're real experiences from hospital staff who've seen things they can't explain. These encounters have left even the toughest medical professionals shaken to their core. Get ready, because these 3 stories might make you think twice about that late-night hospital visit. Trust me, after hearing these, you'll never look at a hospital the same way again. The phantom surgeon. I talked to this nurse, let's call her Sarah. She's been working at the same hospital for like 15 years, so she's pretty much seen it all. Or so she thought. It was a quiet night shift, around 2 a.m. Sarah was doing her rounds when she realized they were short on some supplies in the emergency room. She had to go down to the morgue to grab some extra stuff they kept stored there. Now, Sarah's not the type to get spooked easily. She's been down to the morgue plenty of times before, but this time, something felt off. As she got closer to the morgue, she heard this weird sound. It was like metal scraping against metal. Sarah figured maybe the janitor was down there cleaning or something, even though that would be weird at 2 a.m. She pushed open the door and froze. What she saw next, she says she'll never forget. There was this figure standing over one of the bodies. It looked like a man in old-fashioned doctor's clothes, but Sarah swears she could see right through him, and he was operating on the corpse. Sarah couldn't believe her eyes. She blinked hard, thinking she must be seeing things. But when she looked again, the ghostly surgeon was still there, his hands moving with scary precision. She wanted to run, but her feet felt glued to the floor. Then, the ghost doctor turned and looked right at her. Sarah said his eyes were empty, just black holes in his face. Finally, Sarah found her voice. She yelled, "Hey, what are you doing?" The ghost surgeon just smiled this creepy smile, and then, poof, he vanished into thin air, just like that. Sarah ran out of there so fast she nearly tripped over her own feet. She told her supervisor what happened, but of course no one believed her. They checked the body the ghost was operating on, but there wasn't a mark on it. After that night, Sarah says she's never been able to look at the morgue the same way. She still works at the hospital, but she refuses to go down there alone. She told me, "I used to think death was the end. Now I'm not so sure." I asked Sarah if she ever saw the phantom surgeon again. She shook her head and said, "No, thank God, but sometimes when I'm working late, I swear I can hear the sound of a scalpel scraping against bone coming from the morgue." Sarah's story really messed with my head, you know? Like, what if death isn't really the end? What if there are things happening in those morgues that we can't explain? You know how people say time heals all wounds? Well, for the folks who've had these creepy encounters in hospital morgues, time doesn't seem to be doing much healing at all. These experiences stick with them, changing how they see their jobs and even life itself. I talked to a therapist who works with healthcare workers, and she told me something that really got me thinking. She said, "These encounters shake people's core beliefs about life and death. It's not just about being scared. It's about questioning everything they thought they knew." It's wild to think about, right? Like, imagine going to work every day, not knowing if you might see a ghost or hear a dead body whisper. How do you even deal with that? And here's the thing that really messes with my head. What if these experiences are trying to tell us something? What if that line between life and death isn't as clear as we think it is?